Let's go, Francisco.
Oh yeah, we are almost there. So.
Fallout Fitness Treat.
Okay, you start bringing a topic. You can just ask me what brought me here, or something like that, or what. How do you find about me, something like that.
Yeah, no, I was just reading a comment here. This guy says, "Let's go, Francisco."
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, chat's gonna start coming in as well. I'm gonna have
Yeah,
chat.
just start the chat, and I just wanna continue, and we're gonna start like uh, bringing topics here and there until you say so.
You know what? Should I go off of that mark instead?
No,
This is gonna pick up the fan the whole entire time.
okay, go ahead.
So I should just go off that. I'm pretty sure hopefully it picks him up too.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
I'll leave it on right now.
Yeah. That fan is just gonna kill it.
It looks like we're live. As a hit.
You are? Yeah.
Is your mic on?
Yeah.
You guys ready to sing?
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Adam with TAT, and today I got Francisco on. I know you guys know who this guy is. He doesn't need that big of an introduction, but we're live on. We're live right now, guys. We did not come on live last week. Let me double check to see if everything is coming in just fine. Let me double check, guys. If you guys can hear us, make sure to leave us some comments. I see we got a few viewers on that's joined us already. Let's get the party started. As Transport said, let's get the party started. So we got a few questions that we're gonna just thanks for the birthday wish. My birthday was on the 9th. I appreciate that. But Francisco, we have Francisco here from California. As I mentioned, you guys know who he is. You know, if you got any questions or concerns about what you got going on with your truck, make sure to send us a comment. We'll be more than happy to help. But yeah, I'm glad you come by to visit us, Francisco. You know, we've been chatting a little bit, kind of just going back and forth. You know, he's a YouTuber as well. You know, so I'm just kind of like a rookie in the YouTube game. So what really got you into YouTube?
Well, I really wanted to start my original style, you know. I hit it when I was going to YouTube looking for specific videos, and I wanted to see specific repairs, right? And at the moment to see the repair, they didn't have the information I wanted because it was general. I wanted specific information, so that's what gave me the idea to start a YouTube to give people specific information about specific topics that probably they were looking at the moment. Because it's hard when you're finding a topic and the topic doesn't have anything than you are looking for, right?
I agree. It's frustrating when we're looking for something and we want to repair something. We find a video, and we talked about this earlier, that the topic will be there, the title of the topic will be there, but the information is not in the video.
Yes, yes.
So you wanted to make this content so it can be available for the viewers.
Yes, so they can easy understand. I guess my videos are easy to understand for anybody. It doesn't matter how deep they are in mechanic works, right? They can be rookies or they can be drivers, and they can still understand the videos because my point is to have a general view, you know. And some of you probably wanna watch my videos and don't know anything. And if you don't know anything, you're gonna have hard time understanding what I'm trying to say when I am trying to explain something very specific, right?
Yeah, I mean that's a good idea. I mean this is another reason why I got into it as well. You know, I wanted to get the information out there. There wasn't a lot of videos out there with good information. So guys, we got questions here. We got one question here. It says, why are we doing a live on a Friday? Francisco, we usually do lives on Sundays. Francisco's actually come in on a vacation. He's here in Texas. So this is why we're doing a live on a Friday instead of a Sunday. We understand that there could be people at work, but right now this is what we're doing. We're going live. So the guys that are actually joining us, thanks for joining us. Make sure to like. If you haven't subscribed to us yet, make sure to subscribe to us. If you know anybody that can use our channel, that can find our channel useful, make sure to share our information, share our channel. So Francisco, where else did you visit here in Texas while you were in town?
So I went to San Antonio, Dallas, right? And my last visit will be Houston.
Okay.
And then after that, I'm gonna go back to California. That's pretty much the three major cities that I wanted to visit. Probably next time I was thinking to go to the south area like El Paso and some areas over there, but they're very far from here. You know, there were some people asking me, "Hey, can you come to El Paso?" It's just so far, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Texas
so,
is huge.
Yes, it is. I was not thinking when I was driving all the way from California. I was just like, "Oh, we have to go to Houston. Okay, probably like 2 hours." I mean, that's like 4 or 5 hours
Yeah,
driving.
yeah. Texas is anywhere you drive is an hour. Like you go grocery shopping, it's an hour drive. Anywhere you go in Texas, is everywhere you have to drive long way. Francisco, so what's your favorite engine to work on, man? What engine do you prefer to work on compared to any platform?
Okay, plan for my favorite will be the DD15s. And most of you know that I am based on DD15 most of my repairs. And it is not because it is the easiest work. I mean, it's the easiest engines to work on. It is mostly because it is the common one. It is where most of the profit can be, right? So common side 6 will be my second, but the thing with common side 6 is then they require a little more work. So I like DD15 in a way because I am a one-person mechanic. I do everything myself, and with a DD15 engine, it allows me to do everything myself. But I can remove an engine completely from a truck, completely, just by myself, and that's why I like DD15s, right? When it comes to IS6, it is kind of harder. So that's the reason why I lean more DD15 than Cummins IS6.
Good info. Good info. Yeah, for myself, I like any platform, anything that is a challenge. I like taking it on. So you know, I'd like if I had to work on anything, it would be DD15 as well, just because the simplicity of the DD15 is just there. It's easy to work on. It's easy to fix. We got a few questions rolling in. Let me see if I can catch up. It says we got what's up. Transport's on us. Transport actually joins us pretty often. We got code 184364. I believe I did a video on that particular
That's
code.
low emissions.
Low emissions.
He needs to do a region. Mostly that's because the SCR is going bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
The trucker, if you got that information, we did a video on 184364, that's low conversion efficiency, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so I did a video on that. Check out that video that we released. It kind of goes through the troubleshooting steps. If you don't have the equipment to do the troubleshooting on your own, then I would recommend going to an experienced mechanic to get that troubleshot correctly, because what you don't want to do is just get somebody to have you changing parts out. You don't want them to change out NOx sensors if you have excessive buildup in the DEF, or if your DEF is not delivering enough DEF to your SCR system, then you're gonna have some issues there. Guys, can you answer if you have any questions on if you got any questions on audio? We're gonna go ahead and share this mic here. Apparently we're having issues with the mic, so we're gonna share the mic. Hopefully you guys can still hear us. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the volume up here.
Yeah.
So trucker, I would recommend, as I mentioned, check that video out and do some regens. Or Francisco, what are you suggesting on that particular fault code?
On that fault code, there is a couple options. I mean, like he has to do a regen. The first thing will be to do a regen. After doing a regen, you have to know how's your performance, the SCR performance, depending on how it is, because that code can be caused or either because it's a very weak DEF delivery to the SCR, or there is a leak in the SCR system, or simply because the engine is creating too much emissions. So the emissions cannot be reduced because of there is so much pollution coming from the engine. Also, when the SCR goes, the SCR box goes bad, usually what happens is every time you go uphill, that code comes on and then goes away because the emissions go low, especially when you are going uphill. So there is a couple solutions for that. That will depend on what it is. I actually did one video on what it is, the SCR bypass. That's one of solution. That's a cheap solution how to make your truck run for a little longer. If you haven't seen that video, go to my channel, you can check it out. And it's pretty simple repair. That's nothing special, but that's only if your SCR box itself is good, because the SCR box is composed for two different areas, the DOCs and the SCR. So if the DOCs are good, it's fine to do a repair, but if your DOC is bad, you have to replace the SCR box entirely, so it's going to be an expensive repair. Have you have any experience with it too?
Yeah, that definitely, that particular, I saw he just made a comment here that he put an awning kit on there. So it sounds like he may have had some DEF build up before in the past. So that's why you put the awning system on there. If you're still having that same code and you don't have DEF built up, and as Francisco mentioned, it could be happening when you're going up a hill and trying to make that power. The engine could be causing too much soot. It could be causing too much emission, and that's just too much for the one box to handle. So you may have some issues with that one box. Guys, can you give us an idea of how our audio sounds? Okay, I guess we're good. Audio, he says volume up, please. So he's kind of low. Maybe we should check audio outside. Okay, so we just turning the volume up on the audio. Hopefully that helps. Let me turn it up here as well.
I can hear me. Let's say.
What's that? Can't hear Francisco. All right. So when you talk, Francisco, I guess we'll just make sure we're registering audio on this side right here. So we should be good. So yeah, that's basically what he was covering on the. Sorry, this is our first time we did this side-by-side interview, so we're gonna be working through our equipment while we're live, guys. So I appreciate everybody joining us.
Oh, I have a bad comment here. Alan good, Francisco bad. Oh.
No, he's talking about audio. He's talking about audio. He's talking about transport. I know you're talking about audio, right?
Okay.
Yeah, is volume up? He just took it off. Yeah, volume. Hey, friends, transport. I appreciate your comment, letting us know that that the audio is there. What else we got, guys? So we talked about our favorite engine. We talked about what we like about. One question I hear a lot, Francisco, and I want to ask you this. I got a lot of viewers ask us this, and we get this probably every day. What's a good truck to buy? A good used truck to buy, and what's a good way to buy a used truck? Basically, what I suggest my viewers do is look for maintenance records. If you're buying a truck from a fleet, we mention this all the time. Fleet trucks are probably not going to be well maintained. So, checking out to make sure your maintenance records are intact. Getting the truck checked out by an outside experienced mechanic. This is basically what I suggest, for my viewers. And the only reason why I'm telling you this, just to kind of give you an idea, this is what I tell them all the time. So what would you suggest for your viewers to do when they're looking for a good used truck?
There is many varieties of trucks, right? Depending on what type of truck are you looking for, that will be what you wanna be trying to get, right? The thing is, like, when you go to a dealer to buy a truck, most of the dealers they don't provide you records. They don't provide you records because or either they don't have them, or simply they bought a truck somewhere in an auction or something like that, so they're never gonna have records. So the best way to, if you're really looking to buy a truck, and Cascadia is the common one. Manual transmission will be the best because there are too many automatics, but it is just not that good. I mean, it is not better than the manual. So I will just suggest then, if you have a mechanic near you, the first thing is do a regen. You have to do a regen. That is very important. That's how you can test the performance of your SCR box, the one that you are trying to buy, and you can test the performance of the engine. Many people think then by doing a test drive, for example, if you're gonna buy a truck and you test drive the truck probably like 15 miles around the city, and you think the truck is good, that's not the way. Not even a dyno can test drive a truck. The only way you can test drive a truck is with a heavy load on the back. So that's the only way you're gonna see how the performance of the truck is. There is no other way, because the actual equipment for the truck is the trailer, and it has to be loaded. So, but the dealers, they won't allow you to do that. They won't allow you, because I mean, if you take a heavy trailer there, they won't. Hey, why,
yeah,
right? So
yeah.
it will not make sense for them, right? So what you have to do is the easiest thing to do is do a force regen. Do a force regen. You wanna see if the engine is overheating, the oil temperature is overheating, how the SCR performance is, how the DPF performance is, and in general, how the engine is keeping everything around. There is no cuts after the regen is done. If there is not weird sounds after the regen is done, because the regen, what it does is expose the engine to extreme heat, and to create extreme heat, it needs to create a lot of power. So that's the easiest way to know it. So that will be my suggestion. And I mean, like, it will depend up to you. I mean, like, everything will vary depending on what truck are you going to buy. But the most common truck will be Cascadia, right? 2015, 2016 Cascadia will be the popular truck where anybody will just like to buy it because it is a truck, then it is a good price, it can do the work, and plus it's cheaper to maintain than other trucks.
Yep, good info. Good info. We always talk about this. We get a lot of viewers that talk about where to buy a good used truck, how to buy a good used truck. So this is good information. As I mentioned before, getting it checked out by an outside shop. Checking out your maintenance records. Getting a full load on it is ideal. That is really ideal. Getting a really full load on it and running the truck in areas, basically cross country is really where you're going to really test this truck out, and it's tough to do that. You're right. Even with dynos, in some cases, are not able to get a full load on that engine and cause these problems. So running a force regen is going to be probably the best bet there. Running a regen, you're bringing the idle up, you're putting the engine in somewhat of a loaded form. Not too much of a loaded form, but it's going to be raising the temperatures up. It's going to be making sure everything's going to be cooling correctly. So that's some good information there. I appreciate that. I appreciate you sharing with that. And also with some comments here, he says here, this is the guy that said the audio. He says, not as a mechanic, I'm talking about audio. So that's what he was talking about. Right. And the same thing, he says, great, now he thinks I'm saying... But he's not. He's not saying that.
No, I don't know who. I'm
Transport.
fine.
He was just. We kind of took that the wrong way.
No, I took it the wrong way. But don't worry. I'm fine.
So another thing, this comment just came in. This is the same guy that said he put the awning kit on that has this code here, the 184364. Guys, if you don't know this, what code we're talking about, he made another comment that he put a brand new one box back in April. So the comment here is the same driver with the code. And that's the trucker. The trucker, basically, if you've already replaced that one box and you're having that same issue, then that's going to be happening more upstream. That's going to be something going on with the engine. Okay, so I would definitely get the engine checked out for excessive soot buildup. Make sure you don't have any air-to-air leaks. Make sure the fuel filters are good. Make sure you don't have any active codes or inactive codes going on in your engine. Even if it's an inactive code, if you go into a shop and the code is not inactive or is not active, that code needs to be checked out because as Francisco mentioned, some of these codes are going to come up when you're trying to produce power, when you're going up a hill, you're under a load. So when you're back on regular normal level ground and you're not pulling a load, of course that code is going to go inactive. So you want to make sure that those codes are getting checked out, those inactive codes as well. If you're bringing up your one box has been replaced, what do you think? Do you think that's probably something going on with his engine?
It could be the engine, it could be the DF pump, and it's not actually releasing enough DF pressure to the system. Because I don't know what is his year. Depending on what year is his
2000 believe it's 2015 Detroit.
Oh, okay, so he had the electric DF pump. So electric DF pump is based on pressure and RPMs. So the thing is, like, if you can build the pressure, but the RPM gotta be specific, like between 1100 1200. If the pressure takes too much to get built, probably that is what is happening, because the amount of flow then goes to the SCR box probably is not good. So the best way to actually know what is the problem is actually to run a regen completely and to see what is going on. I mean, how is the performance of all the components, then run the regen and see where is the problem. Also, sometimes the sensors can go bad. Sometimes I've been seeing that. Sometimes the sensor can get stuck in one specific reading, and that can cause then your computer thinks then your emissions are low. So my suggestion to you will be just do a regen. You have to monitor the regen, the full process from the start to the end, and then when it's ended, you have to keep monitoring the regen to see how it's gonna go. That will be the best way to test out the performance on the regen and to see where that code is coming from.
Yeah, I agree. If you're doing the regen, you're monitoring your regen, and if you do have a delivery system or delivery error of the DEF, you should be able to see that in the pressure of your DEF pump. You're going to be able to see that during a regen. Now, if you have any clog or any kind of restrictions in the lines coming from the DEF pump going over to the after treatment system, then you could have some issues there as well. So the link that I put into the video was to troubleshoot that code. If you've already had the box replaced, then what I would suggest doing is do the regen and also check the quantity. Do a quantity control test or quantity control test. It's basically just a procedure to check how much DEF is actually being dosed into the system. And I want to say it needs to be above 120 milliliters. So if it is, then you should be good on that particular job right there. So I appreciate these questions. That's a really good question there that you're asking us here, especially since you've already had to replace the one box system.
Yeah.
You know, I do see customers that had issues like that where they had either a dealer or somebody request a whole one box, and it could be another issue. You
Yeah.
know, so I'm curious to know why they requested the one box.
Probably, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're fine.
What I've been seeing is like usually when dealers, if you troubleshoot a problem, for example, low emission or low DF quality, those are the codes that pop when something like this
Yeah,
happens.
yeah, that
those are
code.
the codes that come. So as soon as that code happens, the dealer will actually recommend you, you know what, the SCR box has to be replaced because the SCR box life lasts between 0 to 400 to 600,000 miles, right? So that is the life of the SCR box. What the thing is, like, a dealer will suggest that because that is the popular cause of the problem. They won't do the research until they already replace it because that's the way they work. I mean, like,
Yeah, they want to eliminate that it's the one box.
Yes.
So if they, you know, they can't eliminate the one box without replacing it. But
Yes.
instead of testing all the other components, they want to replace the one box. But you're right. You know, that's very low life expectancy for a
Yes.
one box system,
Yeah.
especially for the price.
that's what they do. I mean, like, because it is just emissions, right? Emission gotta be renewed every period of time, right? So California, when they did the emission, they made sure then the filters gotta be replaced every single. I mean, every, like, I don't know, 5 years, 4 years,
Mhm.
because every 4 years, 5 years is where the renewal of EPA laws. You know,
Wow.
Every 5 years, mostly. So they do that mostly to keep the environment clean. But on the other hand, you have SCR boxes that don't last 300,000 miles.
Yeah.
You can have that, you know.
Yeah, I see that a lot with Cummins ISX. We see a lot of DPF filters fail at an early age and or early mileage, and that's really odd. You know, usually we see on a, like, say for instance a Detroit, you won't have to change a DPF filter for a while, but we're seeing them at 300,000 miles. You know, we're seeing less than 300,000 miles having to change out DPF filters. It's pretty shocking. So that's what do you think about ISXs? Why do you think we have so many failures on the DPFs?
On the ISX,
On the ISX.
In the ISX, it is just the ISX filter is made. The ISX DPS fails pretty easy. In a way, then it's gonna be asking you for regen too often, codes like that. It's gonna give you codes like that. Even when the engine is running fine with no problems, you're gonna have codes like that. So what happens is, then what I mostly think about those is then the filter, the type of filtration they use on the DPF, it is not too good for that engine because Cummins ISX produce a lot of emissions because they're strong engines.
Mhm.
So they need a really high flow DPF. I heard in the new X15, I don't know if you heard about the new engine X15, the new Cummins ISX.
Yeah, I've read a little bit about it. Mostly I see like they got the crankcase filter, the unserviceable crankcase filter. What, they have changed the DPF filters as well?
Yes,
Changed?
they changed the DPF filters. They don't have doser injectors anymore, and there is a lot of stuff. So
So they're getting rid of the dozer,
Doser.
the seventh injector is
The
what they
seven
call it.
injectors.
So how are they going to create heat?
because or if you study the German engineers, goes like this. So even for BMWs and everything like that. So what they do is like they throw extra fuel to create extra explosions. If you hear cars popping on the back, it's because you're creating extra fuel on the exhaust side.
So they're going to be using the existing injectors but
Yes.
dumping more fuel into the
Yes.
actual
in the
chambers
exhaust stroke.
on the exhaust stroke of
Yes.
it. Oh, okay.
So when the
okay.
extract stroke comes, it will be
Spray fuel.
special fueling only for the DPF.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm curious to see what type of issues that's going to cause.
Oh yes, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, like, because I mean, when there is no doser injector, that means then the fuel it gotta be overfueled.
Yeah, overfueled.
Overfueling. So the overfueling gotta go one way only.
Yeah.
This is the exhaust.
Yeah.
But that means then the injector gotta work double,
Yeah.
right? Double each cycle.
Yeah,
Each
yeah.
cycle gotta go.
And that's got to be fast.
You gotta be fast. That's like super fast.
Yeah, that's less than a second. That's
Oh,
all
yes.
happening. And with Cummins ISX, they already have issues with building up too much soot around the domes of the pistons and causing issues. So I'm curious to see how this is gonna
Yes.
pan out. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that's their new way of doing regenerations. But I'm curious because if they're gonna be using it on the exhaust stroke, as you mentioned, they're overfueling. The injectors are gonna have to work that much harder. So it's going to be, and I haven't seen this in any other platform, so I'm curious if they're going to be the first platform to do
I
this.
think they are, and they're going to. I mean, like the thing is, like as soon as one manufacturer start doing that,
Oh, yeah.
everybody start
Yeah.
picking that up. For example, like
If it works.
yes, Mercedes-Benz brought Detroit to United States with a high pressure fuel pump.
Yeah. Then everybody.
Yeah, and then everybody
Yeah.
start picking up. So that's the way everybody does it, right?
And I see the same thing, like for example, the auxiliary turbine that they put on the DD15s.
Yeah, they remove it.
Yeah.
That was a piece of
Yeah.
bad design.
Bad design, and I saw Volvo started trying to come out with that same design, but again, apparently they just trashed
Yes.
it because after 2013 they stopped putting them on the DD15s. They didn't work out like they were supposed to. Guys, if you don't know what we're talking about, it's a turbine that's behind the turbo, and it uses that compressed exhaust gas to create more of a torque onto the actual flywheel itself, directly to the flywheel or to the gear train, and it didn't work out like they wanted to. So,
The problem is just too expensive. Have you ever replaced one of those?
oh man, they're a pain in the butt. They're a
And
pain
they're
in the
super
butt.
expensive.
Very high too.
Is-
Yeah.
There is the turbine and there is the converter for the turbine.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a
So-
gear.
Yes, it's a gear that has like a little clutch, we can say, like a hydraulic clutch. So that thing, the turbine gonna cost around $2,500, and the converter is gonna cost around $2,500. So it's like $5,000 just on those. I mean,
And you're probably not even. It's not even helping you actually save any money either way
Yes.
running that, because eventually initially they came out with that design to create more
Yes.
horsepower, to give them more fuel economy, but it didn't work out that way. So
it was mostly for emissions.
yeah.
Emission purposes, so that way they can reduce specific emissions at a specific point, so that way the exhaust, because the turbo is going to be pushing the exhaust out, so the turbine is going to create that specific power then the engine will need when those emissions were not creating. Well, that's the reason why they decided to do it, but it was not something. I mean, like 15 horsepower. I mean,
Nothing. You're not gonna really feel
Yes.
15 horsepower. Not really. I mean, it's interesting to see the different ideas that the platforms are coming up with, the different manufacturers are coming up with to try to all fix this solution of nitrous or NOx, just over NOx. So with some customers or some platforms doing in-cylinder approaches, like we talked about this earlier
Yes.
about how who was it?
Force.
Max Force was trying to do more of an in-cylinder approach, which is basically trying to cut down the emissions in the cylinder instead
Before.
of before actually injecting it into a filter, a DPF filter, ATS system. So that was just a bad idea. They tried to make larger EGR valves, and they want to do more EGR flow to get that in-cylinder approach, but it didn't work out. And then like with Cummins as well, ISX, they didn't want to do an in-cylinder approach, so they're dumping more of that into the SCR system, and we're having issues there.
yes.
Why do you think Max Force was such a failure?
What I believe is that Max Force, I mean, International is a special company. And if you actually work in any international vehicle, it doesn't have to be a full duty truck like this one, it can be a medium duty,
Yeah.
And those are going to be like very unique,
Very unique. Yeah,
Very
they got
unique.
high pressure fuel systems, but
Yes.
they run off of
Of
oil
oil, yes.
pressure.
Yeah.
International usually International was the engine that Ford actually the Power Stroke was
Yes.
is an international engine.
It was not the best,
It wasn't the best, at the beginning, but Ford actually took over now. But yeah, so why do you think it had such an issue with their
I think
Class 8?
I think they were not looking for an issue. They were looking for business. That's what I think. Because by creating a system, it's super complex, right? In Max Force is an engine that is super complex, not in a way that it's just mechanical parts. It is just electronic area too. So definitely only the dealer is going to have opportunity to repair those trucks, because we as a small shops, we won't invest that much money on those trucks, because there is no point for us to invest thousands and thousands of dollars just to see 1, 2, 3 mark forks in 1 month, right?
Yeah,
So-
guys. So if you see a Max Force, if you guys are in the market for a used truck, do not fall for the Max Force price tag. They're gonna be very cheap.
Yes.
Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it.
No. I mean, the thing is like Max Force is a good engine in a way. The mechanical area could be good, but there is too many components. And as he say, right, when they created that system, what I believe is they tried, because when I heard first time, when I heard back in 2011, I heard then Max Force was not using DEF. I heard that. And I told them that was a good idea because everybody else was using DEF. And that was cool. Then a company doesn't need DEF. That was a good idea. I was
Yeah.
like, hey, that's really cool, right? But eventually I started doing my research and I realized then that was not the best idea, because adding too many components to the engine, basically they overload the
Yeah,
engine. They
yeah.
overload it. And plus, if you check the original Max Force, they don't use CACs. I mean, CACs in the front. They
Yeah, yeah.
The other things are called CACs too, right? But they don't use CAC. Instead, they use a radiator, actual coolant radiator, then goes in front of the engine to cool the coolant. Then gonna go to the EGR cooler and to the coolers. Then
Oh,
gonna go
man.
before. So that makes the system super
It's
complex.
just super
And
overloaded. Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense because the air then goes inside those coolers is going to be way lower in temperature than anything else.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, I mean, engineering, paper engineering, it looks good. It looks good on a computer,
Yes.
but once it's running and you see the amount of soot buildup in these engines, it's just, in-cylinder approach is very, very tough.
And plus, I don't know if you saw those. The DPF were made of metal. You saw those?
What's that?
The DPF on the Max Force were made of metal.
No, I didn't see that. I didn't
Yes,
see that.
They were made of metal.
Wow.
They were
Wow.
DPF, like you're gonna pick up a DPF filter. It's gonna be super heavy. It's gonna be like like steel type, but it's gonna be super sharp. You can cut your finger. If
So
you
the
touch-
DPF filter is actually metal.
Metal, yes.
Wow. So it's not ceramic like
It's not
everyone
ceramic.
else.
Yeah, after a while, because on 2014-15 they started adding DEF to the Max Force engines, so they changed it again. So they went to so many transitions. Right now, Max Force is no longer Max Force.
No.
It is A26 something like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, after
Yeah.
messing up, they completely changed their name. They completely
Supposedly-
changed the name on that particular motor.
I got someone that works on those engines, and he's telling me about the experience, and still they need to work.
Well, we do have Max Forces in the shop. We actually got one Max Force in the shop today. We're just doing a crankcase filter on that. I haven't seen a metal filter, DPF filter. That's what we haven't seen any older models. We kind of see like the last models of the Max Forces here. I want to catch up to some of the comments here.
Yes.
I've got a lot of comments here. One guy says Francisco is the Jordan, like I guess Michael Jordan, and Adam is the Kobe Bryant. Okay, that's
Okay,
cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, but Kobe's dead. But I mean, that's
it's
sad.
Cool. It's
Yeah,
cool.
that's
It's
sad.
still cool. Hey.
Let me see here, Francisco Master Mechanic. I appreciate that comment. Everybody that's joined us, guys. If you haven't liked the video, make sure to like the video. Let me see, 2017 and up, Freightliner Cascadia. Okay, those are good trucks. I got a question for Francisco. Why you stop replying to comments? Seen you recent videos and no replies. Well, I mean, go ahead and answer, but go ahead and.
That's a question for me, right?
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I'll try to answer as much as I can. I have too many comments, and yeah, I'm sorry. Sometimes I just don't see the comments. I mean, like I have Instagram comments, I mean messages, and then they have YouTube comments, and I have to reply both. And sometimes I am just too busy, or sometimes I open it, and then I run into something else and I forget. So, I'm sorry if I haven't replied your comments, but if I haven't, just comment again, and probably I will, go back to you. The thing is like it's really hard because it is just too many questions, and sometimes trying to find the specific answer that you're looking for me takes a little longer. And sometimes whenever I'm trying to type something and I forget about the other. So just don't feel that I am putting you on a side. just understanding right now I am in a position that it is just myself. I was talking to you about
Yeah, we
that.
were just talking about
Yes,
this.
then it is just myself. I do everything. I do work. I do property stuff. I'm traveling here. I do my shop. I do parts. I do editing. I do videos. I do many things myself. So I guess I have a good excuse not to answer some comments, but still I know for some of you you want an answer, then probably because you have a problem then needs an answer right now, right?
Yeah, I understand that, and transport is one of the ones. Transport is the one who asked that question, and he's asking, making sure that we can follow up. We're gonna try to follow with everybody's question. I've been reading over the question while Francisco was talking as well. What I was gonna mention, I wanted to give Maya a little bit of input on, because I struggle trying to keep up with comments as well. And guys, I mean, working, full time, whether you guys have a family or not, it's a lot of work. And what we do on the weekends as well, we shoot on Sundays. We're working all during the weekdays. So yeah, sometimes not able to catch up to comments. I don't have as many comments as Francisco just yet, but I can imagine how he feels because I fall back on comments all the time. I was trying to see transport. We're gonna try to answer all your questions that you guys got coming in. Most of these are just comments here, but there's a question here. I guess this guy was kind of commenting for. Okay, so the trucker says he wants to check his EGR valve. This is the same guy that had his NOx box or his one box replaced. That's just if you do have an clogged EGR, that would be causing excessive NOx as well. It says, Francisco, we got a lot of questions for you. Okay, so let's get to one of the questions here. The trucker said he's going to bring it by if it comes back. GS is a viewer that joins us pretty often. It seems like he works on a lot of transmissions. He's asking about counter bearings, more grinding. I'm not sure what that question here. This is a question here. I have a 2013 Cascadia DD15. I have no code engine 1. I have 0 code engine 1. My crankcase is not throwing oil or anything. I test where very tough to read this question. Pour the oil to see pressure and it looks good. Jesse Aguilar, I'm not sure what is the issues you're saying. I can read from your question that you put oil in it, but I don't really see the question of what issue you're having. So if you can rephrase that question. Oil pressure gauge is good though. Okay, I'm not sure. Do you get that question? What he's trying to ask?
I mean, probably what I think then he's trying to say is then he's having some kind of problem with the
oil. Because in his later answer or question, he says my oil pressure gauges are good. So if you're having issues with oil pressure, it's a 2013 DD15. You could.
Yeah, just do that question will be better. I mean, what specifically is the problem? I mean, you have low oil pressure, high oil pressure, a problem with the engine. What is the specific problem? Then you want us to answer.
Yeah. Okay. What year is probably the best one to buy automatic? Also, what should we look for on a Cascadia? What's the best one to buy? He wants to buy an automatic. There's going to be a lot of automatics out there. What I've noticed is a lot of the manufacturers started building these trucks with automatics because a lot of the companies that order these trucks want them at automatics because it's easier to get a driver in an automatic than it is a manual.
Yes.
You're taking the operator away from the transmission and the clutch. So in theory, they want to save money on transmissions, clutches, all that. And honestly, I see it because I see, DD15s with DT12 transmissions going over 1 million miles. Like, man, that's a lot of miles. I seen we had over 1 million. I think it was 1,010,000 miles on a DD15 that had an original clutch on it. I mean, you don't get original clutches on manual transmissions with that mileage. You're probably looking at 700K. 800K max, so be able to get 1 million miles on a clutch is
be a good driver.
That's a good driver too.
Yeah.
So what year model you think you should suggest, or what would you suggest to the viewers?
I guess it will be 2015 and up, because aromatic transmission has been just too controversial in the past years, and before it used to be just Eaton transmissions.
Yeah.
Eaton transmissions, and then
Eatons were not good transmissions.
Because
automatics.
they were just
a manual.
Same man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, semi-automatic.
Yes,
It was
they
a
have a
manual
clutch.
transmission, and they just put automated pieces on it. It
It-
wasn't smooth.
It was good in a way. Then the torque delivery was instant.
Yeah.
Because it was a complete mechanical transmission with a complete clutch, but the problem was then it was too many electronic components to control a transmission. So in the past, I don't know if you remember the Super 10, right?
Super 10, yeah.
So basically, Eaton took the Super 10 and put it on there because the Super 10 was the easiest transmission to drive. So pretty much they put that one there, so that way the little motors they you have to do 5 shifting. It's pretty easy. But in the other hand is then they get stuck because mechanical force sometimes you need more than just
Yeah.
force. You have to keep the resistance there and keep
Yeah.
until it gets in. So it's the same thing for automatic transmission. So when that fails, you have a lot of problems. And then you replace this, you replace that, and people what they do, they swap it to manuals. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah, you're right. So what I was going to mention is another reason why I see manufacturers going to automatic, and they're not just going to Eaton automatic. They're going to in-house automatics.
Yes.
They're going to Volvo I-shifts. You got Detroit D12, D12. These all their transmissions. It's weird because the actual case is still made by Eaton. The case of the transmission is still made by Eaton, but they're putting their names on it. They're putting Detroit's names on it. They're putting Packard names on it, Volvo names on it. But they are completely redesigning it. Like the DT12, they completely got rid of a counter shaft. It only has one counter shaft. It weighs almost 300 pounds less than a manual transmission.
but it's super huge.
It's huge. Yeah, you're right. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. If you ever take one off, it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's not easy taking those off. So you're right. I'm gonna catch up to some more questions here. One of the comments had make sure that we answer our questions. This guy I jumped over. This guy's Amigo Jones. He says, and this is when we were talking about the fuel being dosed into the exhaust stroke. He says John Deere tractors just doses fuel on the exhaust stroke. Been working fine. Sounds crude, but no problem so far. So
Yeah, but there is a big difference on John Deere tractors because they are not highway operation. They are with the steady, so they work on lower RPMs, right? For example, I don't know if you've been seeing. I know for sure you know how a tractor works, right? They work on their torque.
yeah,
Most of the time, they work
All
on their
torque, yeah.
all torque. So when you create a lot of torque, you create a lot of temperature. So for them, it's easy to create temperature, to do DPF and everything. So for a highway application, that is totally different because when you are on highway, you create torque when you go up, and you create just like a smoothie ride when you are on a level surface. So to create that, you have to add fuel all the time. So the engine gotta work double in the cycle, and especially injectors. Gotta work double cycle to create that because most of the trucks they do regen when they go on a long haul.
yeah, active.
Yes, active regen. So and especially when they go on a level surface because when they go in a uphill, it is just hard to control that much temperature. And that's right, emissions go low and everything sometimes. But when they go on a level surface, it's easy because the engine is keeping a steady speed and a steady RPM. So that way they can throw fuel there and everything start burning up eventually, and that's it. But it's a way different. But yes, the way it works, yes, I'm pretty sure that's the way the X15 is going to work. And how it's going to be on highway applications, that's something that we have to see.
The only time is going to
Yes.
be able to tell
Yes.
because, as I mentioned to my viewers, anytime there's a new platform that's released, it takes time for that to work out all the bugs. A DD15 had it. That's why we're not suggesting anything before 2015, after anything after 2013. You're all right. Even on the ISX 15, you had issues all the way up to 2016. They didn't actually update everything until I think it was 2016. Now with this John Deere approach, I'm curious I wonder if ISX or Cummins actually saw that John Deere was using this and wanted to go ahead and use it on their
Probably,
highway
yes.
engines. So that's pretty cool. I'm glad. I didn't know that John Deere was already using that. That's pretty
Yeah, it's
cool.
a lot of road applications then on highway applications don't use.
So we got a question here from a man. He says that, what about turbo compound engines on the new Volvo D13 engines?
That was what we were talking about.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. I didn't know. Are they putting them on the brand new engine? What year is that?
I think they are.
They are putting it on that. So more than likely, they're not going to be there for a long time. If they are just adding them, I'm curious to know what data that they were looking at to come up with, hey, let's go ahead and make this approach, because it looks like Detroit went ahead and backed out of it.
Yes,
so
because it is a good piece of engineer when it comes to paper, right? As
Yeah,
we were talking about.
yeah.
But when it comes to real work, it doesn't do much.
So we'll see what it does. I mean, if you have that D13 Volvo and you have the turbo compound on it, there's really nothing you can do about it. You're pretty much with it now. So we'll have to see how it goes.
And I have a question for you right now. Then we are talking about Volvo.
Uh-huh.
What do you think about Volvo engines?
Honestly, I like Volvo engines. I deal with a lot of Volvo engines. We get a lot of Volvos here. It's one of the only engines that are still out there that are still going to be not considered high pressure fuel systems. They are using a low pressure fuel. They're boosting up and they're stepping up their fuel pressure in the injector itself. If you have a Volvo, as long as you're keeping up with maintenance, just like everything else, it's a good engine. You know, the most problems that I see is going to be after 300,000 miles. You're going to have clogged EGR coolers. Of course, the VGT turbos can be damaged as well from excessive soot. Sensors being built up, intake sensors being built up with soot. All these sensors kind of control the NOx levels. So if any of these sensors end up getting clogged up, whether if it's a differential pressure sensor on the EGR valve or a differential pressure sensor on the DPF filter, any of those get clogged up, you're going to create more problems. So I mean, as long as you're prepared for the maintenance on a Volvo, you're gonna be good. There's nothing like a Volvo. Once it's running good, it runs really good. But when it comes to maintenance, if you're gonna be putting the cost side by side from a DD15, you will be paying more money for a Volvo.
Yes.
Volvo parts are higher. There's not a lot of techs that work on Volvos. There's gonna be a lot of things that I find that comes a lot to my shop is low power issues with Volvos, and a lot of times it's either going to be aerated fuel, air-to-air leaks, anything like that. Fuel injector cups is another issue that I don't not a big fan of on what the D13 did, where they don't have a lower O-ring. They use the actual injector cup to seal the bottom of the O-ring. So over time you're going to get aerated fuel. So that's kind of what I think about Volvo. I really kind of dip my hands in every platform because I kind of feel like I want to be a specialist in every platform. I know I'm not going to know it all, but I want to be well-rounded on all platforms because it's very good information, to know about. Like this guy's mentioning the John Deere. That's really interesting information that they're dosing it on the exhaust stroke side.
It's good. That's why I think is perfect for viewers to comment on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because the YouTube comment stays, and there is some other viewers that are looking for questions, and probably on my video or his video, we don't answer that question, but a viewer on the comment can answer that question, then you could be wondering, right?
Exactly. It's like this guy right here. This is the same guy that mentioned the John Deere. He says, I think the combination of synthetic oil and longer oil changes coupled with EGRs is junking these engines up. For example, what do you think about these oil change intervals? If you go to Cummins' website or Detroit's website, 50,000 mile oil changes. I mean, if you look at the fine print, they say in there, do not do this without an oil analysis program. Guys, you got to look at the fine print when you're looking at the 50,000. I know you guys, if you guys are running coast to coast, 50,000 miles is nothing to you guys, but I would definitely, if you're running 50,000 miles, do an oil analysis because it's not healthy for the engine. Even though that oil could still be lubricating, that soot needs to go somewhere, and most of the time it gets caught up in the oil, and that oil is it's not good for the engine. So I appreciate that comment. What do you think about these long extended oil changes?
I think it is just, manufacturers are going to base information based on brand new vehicles, right?
Yeah, no, you're right.
So,
brand new. That's basically what I was just kind of looking at who we have on and how much we've been on right here. So I was just kind of looking at that. But You're right. You're right. Manufacturers are going to be, if you look at the fine print, as I mentioned, they're going to say specific filters to use, specific
Yes.
oil to use, run an oil analysis with all that in place. If you're not running an oil analysis and you're doing 50,000 miles, how do you know your oil is not gunked up with a bunch of soot? How do you know that your viscosity is where it needs to be? You don't know. You can't
Yes.
see that from your oil. Your engine's not going to tell you that until it's too late, you know?
Yes.
Definitely. We're going to look at some other questions here. Andrew has a question. He says, if I was buying a used truck and I wanted to bring someone with your experience along to inspect the truck, how much should I expect to pay for their time? What is the fair rate? Well, Andrew, I'm going to let Francisco answer this because I don't do any mobile inspections. We most of the time we have our guys come into the shop just because I don't have guys that I can send out. But didn't you just look at a truck here in Texas?
Yes, I did. I looked at like 5 trucks over here when I was here in my time. But anyway,
If you want to
good
contact
rate.
him, contact him. I'm interested to know how did these inspections went.
I mean, like the inspection is basic. I mean, like you cannot tell what is wrong of when the vehicle is steady. I mean, and you can drive it everywhere, but still, as I say at the beginning,
Yeah.
you have to have a heavy load to actually know if the truck is performing well. But in general, inspection is going to be if everything mechanical that is visual is in a good condition. There is no cracks, there is not a belt and are broken, then the fan is working correctly, engine is not overheating, then the oil pressure doesn't drop too low, then the oil temperature doesn't go too high, then there is no cracks on the airbags, there is the tires, they're not recap, they're original, they're super single or no super singles, the brakes conditioned, under the truck leaks, coolant leaks, DEF leaks. In the SCR performance there is no exhaust leaks, DEF leaks or fuel leaks and stuff like that. So usually depending on who is going to do an inspection, that will vary because depending on we can say the prestige of the mechanic, that is what it varies, right? Because general mechanic then could be your local mechanic, probably can do the inspection for free if it is your own mechanic. But if it is someone with extended experience, that person will charge you from 250 all the way to 1,000. It depends where, how, and what type of truck and how the inspection is gonna go.
Yeah.
How long the inspection is gonna take.
And you got to think about the experience. You know, if you get a mechanic that says, "Hey, you know what? I'll charge you $70 to come look at it." Think about his experience. You know, I just want to bring up an example. We had a guy come in a few weeks ago, about a month ago to be exact. He had a truck checked out by a local shop that was close to where he was buying the truck. He didn't really get a good feel for him. He ends up bringing it to us, and we can hear the gear train. It was an ISX Cummins, and you can hear the gear train noise right away. And it's something that we recognize because we've repaired gear train before. We can hear gear train issues happening. So depends on your mechanic. You know, I wouldn't. It's kind of like inspecting a house. You want to pay to inspect that house that you're about to own, or that you're about to own, and you're the one that's going to be responsible for all the liability on this house. So it's the same with a truck. You may spend some money to have this truck checked out. You may spend some time, but think about it in the long run. If you have a truck that, you know, Francisco mentioned that he just checked a truck out, one of the trucks out in San Antonio, and he figured it looked like it had a bad a one box. The customer was just about to buy it, and it was from a dealer. The dealer said it was good. Francisco suggested not to buy it because of a one box. Now, one box failure is not cheap.
Yes.
You know, what is it? $10,000 for a
Easy.
one box failure, and you know, and that's easy, and that's not including the downtime.
Yes, downtime.
The downtime alone is going to be a lot. So I'm going to keep moving along, guys. We got some more questions here. GC is still asking about your bearings. Guy, I know you do transmission work. If you are taking out that counter shaft, then go ahead and replace the bearings. You got to knock out those bearings anyway. Transport says, guys, please answer everyone's questions in chat. We are working on that, Transport. Okay, this guys gave us a thumbs up. Good to see professionals and honest individuals sharing and caring and working together for for well-being of others. Thanks for that question. Thanks for that comment. Truckers watching us. Max Force is trash. I agree with you on that. Let me see here. Trey just says Trey changed me to LeBron and Francisco. I get what he could be Jordan. I guess we'll keep it that way. Francisco, one day I will catch you in California. Sounds good. Top-notch mechanics. I appreciate that. Martin actually came in and saw us from El Paso. I appreciate you watching there. Francisco replied to us, man, we love you and we need you.
I will.
He's probably gonna have to get somebody to hire someone to answer these questions. There's a lot of questions that come in. Good to see you guys together. Been following you both. Thank you. Another question for Francisco. When are you having your own shop? And when will you go, or when are you going to share your address?
I guess it relates to the second answer. Second question right there.
Francisco, where's your shop? I live in Social.
It's SoCal.
SoCal. I'm sorry, South Carolina.
No, it's not.
That's not South Carolina.
No,
that's a place. South
California.
South Carolina. Carolina. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
No, okay. Eventually, I'm working on it. The thing is, like as I say, I want to provide the address to my place, but it is just me working, and it's really hard to give the service. Then you guys I'm expecting for me just myself, because if you all come at once, you all gonna overwhelm me. It is just me.
Yeah, guys, we like at our location. We have the shop set up. We got mechanics.
Yes.
It's a big process to bring you guys in, check you guys in, make sure we do everything correctly. And to be able to bring it all in at once, it's very overwhelming, guys. He's probably not wanting to upset anybody. That's basically...
Yeah, there is a big difference versus us, right? You have a bigger shop than mine. Mine is smaller, but you have many mechanics, and I am the only mechanic. So that's the reason. Probably that's something that they don't see, because I don't comment that.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I don't call, because you can grab a lot of customers because you have plenty of mechanics to deal, right? But in my case, it is just me, right?
Yeah.
So that's the hardest part. But eventually, it will happen. Just be patient.
Yeah.
And
I think it's gonna happen. Don't worry, guys. One day it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Somehow it's gonna happen. So please.
Okay. Next question. What's the best gear ratio and torque on a 13-speed with 505 horsepower? Thanks. Well.
That's that Cummins or a Detroit?
Well, he's basically asking for his gear ratio. What I would recommend is checking the tag on the door, making sure that those ratios are spec'd out as it was manufactured.
Yes.
Don't try to change any modifications, put different gear ratios. Even changing the tire size can throw your gear train off, or I'm sorry, your drivetrain off. I've had a customer that he was all over the place at different shops on why he was losing fuel, MPGs. He was losing, fuel mileage, and come to our shop and it looked like somebody changed from 24s to 22s, and he didn't know about that, So of course that's gonna throw everything off. So keep that in mind. I don't have an exact answer for you on the torque ratio for a 13-speed with 505 horsepower. Do you have an exact gear ratio?
I don't have a specific answer because everything varies depending on the engine, vehicle, and everything. So, you can have 500 horsepower, but not all engines that are 500 horsepower, they have high torque. So that's something you have to see, because you can have a 475 and you can have 1600 pounds of torque, and you can have a 500 with 1200 pounds of torque.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's something that you have to see specifically on the engine and match it to see what, because the best way, if you want power, if you're looking for power, you have to start from the source, and the source is going to be the engine.
Yeah, and that would be odd. Why would they want high horsepower with no torque?
Because when you have horsepower, that means how fast the engine is going to rev.
Yeah.
And when you have torque, that means then how powerful the engine will stay. So that's the difference. So if you have high horsepower, that means then the engine will rev fast. Mm-hmm. But if you have high torque, the engine will be strong enough to keep a specific speed, even when you're going uphill. I don't know if you haven't seen trucks then going uphill, and it is just a little uphill, and they start losing power.
Oh yeah.
It's because it is a low torque.
Yeah.
Production there. So if you have a high torque, like Cummins ISX with the KWs, like 500 horsepower, 600 horsepower. They have 1600, 1800. Those, I mean, they can go 55 uphill because they have a lot of torque.
A lot of torque.
Yes.
Torque is what the power is. The
Yes.
torque is what actually is pulling the load. I am looking for Francisco, but it was easier to find Adam. This is Martin that came in from El Paso actually, so he probably went to look for you.
Yeah, everybody's looking for me.
Share the video, guys. If you haven't shared the video, make sure to share the video. I appreciate all the views, all the viewers that are on with us right now. As you know, we got Francisco here. We're gonna try to catch up to all the questions. What about the turbo? Okay, I already asked that question. Francisco, your videos have saved me a lot. Keep up the good stuff coming. That's good, guys. If any of our videos has helped you, make sure to support our channel. You can hit us up either way on Cash App, or you can come visit us here at the shop, or you can hit Francisco up on his Cash App. It's gonna be all on his channel, all the information there, guys. So I appreciate that comment. I'm pretty sure Francisco appreciates everything that's he's been able to help you with. I'm losing prime on a 2014 DD15. Had hard start. Is it to replace the crank check valve on it, and where is it located? Okay, sorry if I'm not reading this correctly.
Yeah, I understand that.
I am losing. You're losing your prime on a 2014 DD15 hard start, and he wants to replace the check valve. And where is it located? Okay, guys. So your check valve, this one is not going to be like a 60 series. It doesn't have a check valve. You know, basically the check valve is going to be in the filter housing. If you're having a hard start, I would go through the troubleshooting procedures of a hard start. What I've seen on hard starts is it could be on the fuel lines coming from the tanks. Basically is what I see from the hard starts. Make sure you don't have any internal fuel leaks. If you do integrity fuel tests, that's going to do basically cutting off the engine, monitoring the fuel system to make sure you don't have any internal leaks. Basically just checking out your fuel system from the low side to the high side. Where do you suggest he can start off on this particular issue on a hard start?
It depends. I'm pretty sure he's 2014, so he's gonna have the 2-stage. So if he had the 2-stage, he got 3 options, we can say. If you have a fuel water separator, you have to check. There is a check valve on the fuel water separator.
Are you talking about the one on the rail?
No.
Okay.
Low pressure. Because,
the low pressure.
Because prime pressure is low pressure only.
Okay.
Nothing to do with the high pressure. So on the fuel water separator, the one that comes from the tank, the big filter that goes on the side, that one, you open one of the lines, it has a little valve like this. That one is a check valve. It doesn't go bad, but sometimes go bad. So that's the first check valve. The second check valve will be the check valve that goes on the small filter. There is a small filter, you remove it, and there is a little ball right in the bottom. That ball is going to be a second check valve. The only problem with that check valve is then probably you won't find it anywhere. So pretty much you have to replace the full housing, because I'm not sure. I'm trying to find out, and if I find it out, I want to post it because I know it's gonna be hard.
Yeah, well, we had this issue probably about a few months ago, and we pretty much disassembled the entire fuel filter housing, and every little valve we replaced on it. It didn't fix the problem until we replaced the fuel filter housing. I'm not saying this is your problem, because I have seen where we replaced fuel filter housings before, but it ended up being fuel lines from the tanks. So you want to check the low side, everything.
Yes.
So when I mentioned that you didn't have a check valve, where you're looking for a specific check valve, there are going to be some valves on the fuel filter housing, but as Francisco mentioned, they're kind of going to be hard to find when it comes to part swapping.
Yeah, those are the basic ones. I mean, like and there is also another check valve. The last check valve on the 2-stage fuel filter is going to be on the bottom side. There is a check valve that goes under, so you remove it from the bottom, and that will be the low pressure check valve. That valve, the only thing it's going to do is to know, like, to release when there is a lot of pressure, or to don't let pressure inside the fuel pump. So that's all. So those are the only valves that can create hard cranking, like no starting and cranking. It will depend on what's the problem. It is not just to replace all that, and that's it.
Exactly.
So you have to actually check it, because that is based on the fuel system itself. Sometimes fuel pump the low pressure fuel pump goes bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes happens and it's sucking air from somewhere because of the seals or one of the hoses is bad, and sometimes it's happening because one of the injectors is leaking.
Yep.
So
And that's what you'll find out from a fuel integrity check. That's what I was telling you earlier. Anytime you work on a truck, you want to make sure you remove as least amount of components as possible at the beginning. You know, you don't want to just start, hey, you know what, he said fuel filter housing, he said check valve, I'm going to take all this off. You know, start from the beginning. Do an external inspection first. Make sure you don't have any fuel lines leaking. It could be something as easy as that, as a fuel line leaking from the tank.
Yes.
You know, or something rubbing. Could be something as easy as that. It could not even be something on the engine first. So check all that out. I hope that helps you. Hard starts are not going to be a simple fix. Hey, you know what? It's going to be that issue. It could be a variety of things. So making sure that you're working with somebody that has experience on this is something that I always suggest to you guys, because I don't want you guys going to a shop, you replace the fuel pump, you replace the fuel filter housing, you replace a lot of components, and it ends up being a fuel line or something simple like that. So thanks for the question. I appreciate that. Let's move on to the other one. Thank you, Adam and Francisco, for all of your knowledge and being upfront with us owner operators and your help. I have learned a lot from Francisco and his videos, and God bless you and your families. Thank you very much for that comment. That's very nice of you. Hey, just wondering, what is the best way to learn diesel mechanics? Schooling, working, or in a shop?
I mean,
all of it.
Working on a shop basically will be the best. Schooling is important because there is many mechanics, they know how to repair an engine, but they don't know why they are repairing it. So
exactly.
That's right, school is important. Working on a shop is more important than a school, but if you have both combined and use both combined, you are going to be good. But I think there is a very controversial topic on that, because most of people think that the school or the shop has a lot to do with your experience as a mechanic. And my opinion is, if you really want to be a good mechanic, if you really want to be a good technician, you gotta love this job. You gotta love it, because there is no way. I mean, one man told me one time, then if you are really willing to do a work for free, like you really wish to do something for free just because you like it, that's something that you really gotta study. And in my case, I mean, I don't mind if I have to look to a truck and they won't pay me. I don't mind that. I love to do it. And I mean, and that's the reason why I pay so much attention to what I do. And that if you are looking to learn how to be a good mechanic, that's how you gotta see it. Don't see it for the money. See it because you love it, right?
Yeah, exactly. If you look at it just for the money, and I've seen this. I've seen guys that want to get into want to be a diesel mechanic. I want to be a diesel mechanic, and they come into the shop and they see what it is. I mean, it's not easy work.
Yes.
It takes a lot of patience. A lot of the stuff that you're working on that you learn in school, those items that you're working on in school, those are basically brand new parts that have been taken apart multiple times. The stuff that you're going to be working on in a shop has not been taken off since it's been put together. So a lot of the stuff is going to be hard. You're going to deal with a lot of the different corrosion. You're going to have a lot of patience. So this is kind of ties into what Francisco is saying. Like, if you don't like or love what you're doing, you're not going to be successful as a diesel mechanic. In my opinion, I would say all of them will work together. The schooling and working in the shop, because not only knowing how to do it, but understanding how it works is going to help you find out how that truck is supposed to work, or whatever you're working on. If you understand how it works, you're going to better understand how to fix it if something breaks. Yes. and make sure it doesn't happen again, So that's a good question. I really appreciate that. Transport has another question for us. He says, Francisco, what do you think about diesel laptops? I know what Adam thinks about. I wanted to know what you think about them.
I don't know what you think about them.
He's talking about Diesel Laptop.
No, I
right?
know the company and those.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
what do you think about them?
Well, personally, from what I've dealt with third-party softwares, and what I mean by third-party software is like,
With the license?
yeah, not the license. I meant like, say for example, JPro.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so JPro is a third-party software that put their softwares together to help do whatever you need to do on whatever engine you're working on.
It's a universal system.
Universal system. What I find is there's limits to some of
Yes.
those third-party systems. And what I like about, either Detroit, if you're talking about Triple DL, or if you're talking about Insight, those are softwares that are manufactured by the manufacturers.
Yes.
So anything that you're able to do on the engine, you're going to be able to do it
Yeah.
on something that's not a third-party software.
Okay. My opinion will be this then. Diesel laptops could be good if they are using the original softwares. But if they're using their specific softwares, I don't think that would be a good idea.
So this is one of the viewers. He looked. I believe they do service as well. You guys do repairs as well. And Diesel Laptop is actually a company. I don't know if
Yes.
you saw them. Yeah.
Yes, I know.
So they try to sell us all the time. They sell that they have software, they have training, all this. I mean, I honestly I haven't used them, so I'm just giving you my opinion on what I think about third-party softwares. So take it or leave it. You can use it, try to see. You can see the differences on what what you're gonna get with a OEM software compared to a aftermarket software or a third-party software. You don't get a lot of support with dealer software. I'm gonna tell you that right there. You don't get no support. If you call into Tech Tool or if you call into Detroit, all they're going to help you with is connecting the laptop. So most of this is going to be for technicians that actually have experience in it.
Yes.
So Diesel Laptop is more geared towards people trying to learn the system. So I don't know. I don't have experience with it.
The good thing about it is then you can buy the license pretty cheap. I mean, like for people that don't do very hardcore job like you and me, it's fine. But if you're really into doing some really hardcore repairs, you need the specific software for the specific engine. That will be the best.
Yeah, and one thing that I mentioned before is some of the software that the third-party people have, you're not going to be able to access the information that you need. Like if you're doing a regen, you might not be able to see the pressure from the DEF. You might not be able to see those particular parameters. Some of the stuff you can actually see the RPMs of the pump. Or the DEF pump, so that's really good
Yes.
information. Say for example, you're not building pressure and your RPMs are 0 on a GHG14. That's gonna tell you something's going on with that DEF pump. You don't have any RPMs, you don't have any pressure. So I don't know what Diesel Laptop is doing to capture all this information.
They're doing well. There is a lot of competition now. I've been seeing a lot with that, but
a lot of people using them.
Yeah, a lot of competition with the software. So what they're trying to do is push it more and more, so they can get more information. Because now you have a Snap-on, you have Diesel Laptop, you have a JPro, you have OTR Performance.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're all trying to do that. So it is just so much competition. So what they're trying to do is to give a fair rate for as much as they can.
And honestly, Diesel Laptop is not even that cheap. Diesel Laptop's really expensive.
Yes.
I want to say they're like over $5,000 or something like that
Because
to get set up with them.
It comes with the adapter already.
Yeah, adapter, and I
So
think it
that's-
comes with all the software.
that's
So
right.
that's not cheap. If that's something you're going to invest in, then definitely make sure that's something you want to go. What I would do, transport, is probably reach out to somebody that's using it, and somebody that's using it for a while, and see how it's working for them.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah. We got another question here. How is THR? I guess you would say the X15 holding up so far.
That's the new engine.
That's the THR. That's the one you're talking about.
I think that's. I heard that engine is pretty new. I mean, that's a 2020 model, so that engine is not going to be on the market that much.
What is a THR 15?
I think he means the D as a
Oh,
DA. Yeah.
D.
Like that, yeah.
So the
Yeah.
D. Are you talking about ISX 15?
Yeah,
then?
that's pretty-
yeah. Well, that's been out. Yeah, that's been out since 2000 and
19 last
yeah.
year.
Well, actually, no. ISX 15 actually came out in 2010, I believe.
No, that's the X15.
X15.
The X15 is the replacement for ISX.
Let me go back here because
Yeah.
ISX 15 came out,
No, it is just the X15. It is no IS. It is just X15.
but Cummins.
Cummins, yes. That's the replacement for the ISX.
Come out 2017. It shows, yeah, that's the X15. Yeah.
That's the newest one. So it's a brand new engine. There is no much information about it yet, and that's the one I'm telling you. Then it does the exhaust stroke as a region.
This is the one.
Yes, it doesn't
Ah,
have. If
Fred-
you study, you can. I think you can circle around there. And you
Yeah,
can see it.
yeah. I think I've actually looked up this engine. I didn't know that they were using that exhaust approach like that before. I didn't know that they were using that.
Yeah.
So that's a good question. You know, anytime there's new engine platforms that are being released like this, it takes time for them to work out the bugs, guys. So I appreciate that question. Keep let me see, auto keep downshifting. Okay, GS, I would check your software to see if you got
Right,
any
yeah.
issues. See if you have any codes.
Yeah, that would be the best.
Yeah, if you have, he's got an auto shift that keeps downshifting, so you may have some issues. Adam and Francisco are like Messi and Ronaldo combined together in Real Madrid.
In Real Madrid.
Oh, okay.
Real Madrid.
Okay.
Actually, I was wearing Messi's T-shirt yesterday.
That's cool.
Really?
I appreciate that comment. That's cool. That's cool. Why my truck wastes diesel after I fuel up and I don't use it as much, not even a half of day, and it already shows that I wasted a quarter tank. I don't think it's reading correctly.
Yeah, probably is that.
Yeah.
It's like DD15. I mean, Cascadia, they have that problem. So.
If that, you mean, you basically answered your question. Make sure that what I would do is, you know, physically check in your tank to see if it's actually going down. If it's not, then you could have a bad fuel sender.
Yes.
Could have. Francisco, have you ever changed split pin bushing on a Cascadia? He asked the same question, I believe, about a week ago, and I didn't answer his question because I haven't done it. My friend Israel, the one that you met today, he's done split pin bushings. I haven't done one. Basically, it's a repair inside a transmission on a DT12.
No, I haven't done.
Yeah, maybe we can do a video on that one. It's not very often we do them.
Maybe one day we're gonna come and do a video together, or repair together. That
Yeah.
would be cool, right?
Yeah, that'd be cool. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
My one box DPF makes loud noises when you accelerate over 50 miles an hour loaded, but no code.
Yeah, that's a bad.
That's a
box.
bad box right
Yeah.
there. Sorry to tell you, Sean. You're gonna have to replace that in one box, man. Sorry to tell you that. And I had an actual customer that bought a truck from a dealer, and it was a nice truck. He drove it, day cab, drove it around, said it was good, loaded it, started making that noise. We found out it was a bad one box. He had just bought the truck, brand new one box. Engine code 1.
I have no idea.
That's probably just the beginning of the
Yeah.
code. Yeah, that's just letting you know that
It is an engine.
it's in the engine, and then you need the rest of the code there, Jesse.
You need a Red Bull?
Adam needs a Red Bull.
I thought I was the one that needed.
Shoot, I mean, I haven't ate yet. I'm hungry. I haven't
Yeah.
ate lunch yet.
Yeah, I
We're
haven't-
probably gonna eat lunch after this.
Yeah, I haven't had
Yeah,
anything
we
yet.
haven't ate anything. On Cummins ISX 15, how can you say for a fact that fuel pump bad need to be changed? Fuel rail, injector, or pump? What's 100% way to know fuel pump's bad?
One of the things is like low fuel pressure,
Mhm.
but it is hard to know because the things that with the ISX fuel pumps, usually they don't tell you anything. They just destroy itself. The engine doesn't start at all.
Mechanically failed.
Yes. So if you really wanna know if you, depending what is the problem. I mean, like if you just wanna know when it's time to replace the fuel pump, well, easy will be noises, right? You wanna hear like, I don't know, some kind of like squeaky noises. That's pretty common, squeaky noises, and probably you can have like probably the engine shuts down for no reason. Like the engine is running and suddenly, boom, it's off because the fuel pressure drops and stuff like that. But to actually find a way when the mechanical area of the fuel pump is going bad, that's going to be something really hard to find because you cannot see it.
What I would suggest you do, if you do have low fuel pressure, if you're having issues going on with fuel system, just troubleshoot it, thoroughly, making sure that double check it, triple check it before condemning anything large like a fuel pump or a fuel filter or a fuel injector. Francisco, you like cars or trucks? I mean BMWs or semis?
Well, I do like both. Actually, I have this T-shirt for my other channel, IE Euros. This
Check out his other channel.
Yes.
He's got another channel. What is it? What is the name of the channel?
IE Euros.
I
Euros.
Euros.
IE Euros.
Okay.
Right here, see, IE Euros. It's right here.
Okay, IE Euros. Okay,
Yes.
I got it. I'm gonna type it in here into the comments, guys, if you want to check out his other channel here.
IE Euros. So I do work on boats. I usually initially before starting working on trucks, I used to work on cars. And my favorite car going to be Germans, and these guys in this kind will be BMWs. BMWs are going to be BMWs and Porsches. That will be my favorite cars. But I do work on both, and I like it because I love my job, and that's the reason why I decided to create two channels, separate channels. And if you guys saw my channel at the beginning, you saw that I was working on cars at the same time. But now I only do trucks, and that's the reason why I have the other channel, so I don't create confusion.
So Charles has a comment here. I guess he watches both of us. Love both of you guys. Condolence. But Adam, you said that it's crazy to work outside, internal on the engine. That's where Francisco does his work. Debate starts now. So I guess what he's saying is I made a comment that I guess someone brought you up on my channel before, and I mentioned that working outside. Is your shop outside?
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason why I mentioned this, Charles, because I've worked outside before. If you look at my next chapter video, where we started to where we're at now, I understand what it is to work outside. So I know how it is. So that's probably where, that's basically where I was talking about, really. And I also talk about internal, like say, for example, like DD15, say, for example, DD15s are like very, very delicate engines. When it comes to replacing parts internally and whatnot like that. What do you think about working on the trucks when they are outside like that? Or what precautions are you taking to make sure we don't have any kind of contaminants or debris going in?
It is. I mean, I think it's like there is a limit. There is a tolerance, right? Everything has a limit. I do work outside, and there is everything. So the problem doesn't happen when you work outside. The problem happens on how dirty you keep your hands. That's how it happens, because sometimes most of mechanics or people that are working on trucks, they don't usually clean their hands. How you see me wearing gloves all the time in my videos? I don't know if you have. If you have seen me wearing gloves, it is not because I don't want to get my hands dirty. It is just because it's easy to wipe any dirt, any type of debris from my gloves, from my fingers, because the fingerprints, they can get something stuck in them, and whenever I touch the oil, because the oil is adhesive, right, it's just gonna stay there. So it's easy to wipe a glove, but it's not easy to wipe a finger. So that's the reason why I don't mind working outside and inside, because most of the time what happens is then if you do a job, like we can say, and the job, someone blames then the job went bad because it was done in the open environment, right? The problem is how long that job takes to get done. So for example, if you're replacing the crankshaft and you want to leave the crankshaft sitting there for 2 days, and then you want to come back and put the main caps back on, and you didn't inspect anything, you just put them on because you're realizing everything was clean, that could be the problem, because you didn't double check it. So when you work outside, you have to double check constantly and keep your hands clean. That is easy. So that I do that all the time. I mean, I do that all the time. I work outside, and I mean, and I'm telling you, I'm from a country, El Salvador, and when I was in El Salvador, we didn't have anything. So
making it happen.
Yeah. So anywhere we could be in the middle of the dirt, and we have to put this engine together. And how we gonna put it together? By keeping it clean. And we could be right in the dust, and still the engine's gonna run fine. So it has to be how observative the mechanic is. That's what.
Yeah. One thing that I've noticed is like we've done a lot of DD15s here, and we do them inside, and I still get debris.
Okay, it depends.
And what I mean by debris, like for example, we'll do an overhaul on the engine, and we do we do our best to keep everything clean. I noticed after assembly, we can run the engine for testing, for breaking in. I can pull a main, and in some cases, I still will have debris.
Yeah, it's because it's normal. When you put an engine together, brand new, you're gonna have debris. It's normal. Like how big? That is the question. I mean, if you have big debris like this, yes, there is a problem. But if you have very microscopic, then you can see like the oil is kind of like you can see the reflection of the metal.
Yeah.
Right, but it's not big. That's normal. That's a normal wear.
Yeah.
Because the engine is breaking. That's right. A manufacturer, I would recommend you then as soon as you repair the engine, you drop the oil, you replace the oil filter, and put new oil, and put a new filter. That's the recommendation.
Good information there. Good information. So what we've done, we've just really tried to clean the area up anytime we open up an engine. When we're trying to rebuild an engine or we are rebuilding the engine, we just sweep up the floor, try to just get as much dirt off the ground as possible and try to assemble that engine as quick as possible. Not, I don't mean like in a rush manner, but not leaving the crank sitting for a few days or leaving it items over here. And the only reason why is, you know, I've removed a bearing from an engine that was assembled by the manufacturer, and I can see how clean those bearings are, and that's where we try to get. Well, I try as our shop try to get those bearings to look that clean. Very difficult though. Very difficult. Very difficult. Very difficult.
The best way to keep an engine clean it is just double checking everything when you are putting everything together.
Guys, we've been going on for almost an hour and a half. I want to catch up with all the questions. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get to them all. Jesse has another one. What does it mean, EGR code 1? I know it's something related to crankcase, and I did all those tests that I mentioned on top of how can I know what to look for. Okay, if it's a engine code 1, is that the only code that you have, or is that just a piece of the code? We need the entire code. If you're getting an EGR code, is it a DD15? I'm not sure if he told us if this was a DD15 or not.
I think it is a DD15.
Oil pressure, yeah. DD15 Cascadia, yeah. This is him right here. He's the guy that was talking about oil.
Yeah, engine 1 is just going to relate to the engine, and that's it. I mean, if you really want an answer for that question, you have to provide the SPN code.
The whole code,
yes.
The entire code. So that we can look it up and see what the description is. Because 1 is going to tell you that it's happening at engine 1, which is the engine. And then the rest of the code is going to tell you the actual breakdown. Okay, so we got a super chat here. This guy just paid 15 for this question here. It says, I have the code on a Cascadia SP4334 FMI4 and SP437404. I have to look these up. I don't know them off the top of my head.
I think it's related to like low pressures, like DFs.
Let me look them up real quick for you. Let me see here. I'm looking up these codes for you right now. I appreciate this question. If you could tell me what year model that is, that'll help me out a little bit more if I can know what year model that is. I'm gonna go with the new year model here. I'm gonna go with a GHG 14, which is gonna be either a 15 and above. Let me see here. 4334.
I think he's having problems with his wiring.
Okay. 4334 on a 2010. Looks like wiring issues. You're right. 4334. 4334. He's got the O and the 3. So the 4334 is DEF pressure sensor circuit failed low. Okay, so 4334 on a 2010 model EPA 7 or EPA 10. Did he give us a year model? 2015. So yeah, GHG 14.
So that one is going to be related to the SCR box wiring.
Also
wiring and SCR box wiring mostly.
I was looking at 2000. I was looking at a 2010. Okay, so DEF, it's the same code though.
Yeah,
okay.
It's the same code. So it's gonna be related. Then the core, the power is shorted to ground, so it's not getting activated. So it is just the dosing unit. It could be the dosing unit, but most of the time it is just the SCR wiring.
Yeah, if it's a 2015, so that's 5 years old. It could be the wiring. You're right. One thing about those dosing units, let me just verify here. That's DEF. Okay, so this is a GHE14.
Yeah, gotta be the same.
Yeah, it's gonna be an electrical problem. Basically, it's just kind of PSL is just looking for multiple codes. If you have multiple codes present, then of course you want to troubleshoot those other codes first. If you don't, disconnect the dosing harness to verify your connection. If your connectors are good, more than likely you're gonna have an electrical problem there. So that's what it looks like. Have you done any repairs on it yet? Have you replaced any parts? If you haven't, disconnect that part, check the connectors like we're talking about. That's going to be an electrical problem there. I appreciate that question. That was a super chat question, guys. What that means is he actually paid for that question so that he can get bumped in front of the line on all the questions we have here. So now I'm going to go back to where we left off here. Let me see here. Where were we at, Francisco?
We were at Red Bull. No, you have to go down. Yeah, right there. DD15 Cascadia, the 2010. After Jesus Aguilar.
After Jesus Aguilar?
Yeah, all the way down.
Okay.
Yeah, right there.
Okay. DD15 2010. After I turn the key off, it beeps 20 times, and all the power outlet, like the charger, TV, refrigerator, goes off. Sounds like a low power disconnect.
Yeah,
issue.
but that's a 2010.
So that's probably going to be something going on with the sound.
Yeah, that's 2010. So the 2010 has the regular switch. So yeah, something like the SAM cab is bad, or it could be a short circuit somewhere.
2010 models, even with the newer models, the SAM cab module, for some reason it gets water in it, man. It gets water. So check that out. To me, that's what it sounds like. Anytime you have any like rear bunk AC not working, clearance lights acting funny, lights are out, anything on the truck, on the actual chassis not working correctly, intermitting like that, sounds like it's going to be SAM module. So, saludos a los dos. All right, thank you very much. GS says, why my gear train knocking at idle?
No, that's probably the gear is bad.
Yeah, it sounds like something going on your gear train. Because GS, I know you talk about transmissions a lot. If you're talking about transmissions, en español también.
Sí, señor.
Okay. Hi, Adam and Francisco. Robert, how you guys doing? También podamos hacer un video en español un día.
Yeah.
Estoy esperando. Hector says, what do you think about extended oil change intervals with good synthetic oil like Amisol?
Yeah, I know that oil.
Is that a good oil? I haven't.
That's like a high performance oil.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we talked about it. It really doesn't depend on the oil. Actually, it depends on if you're running an oil analysis system and you're doing oil analysis on there, then check to see what the oil analysis says. Make sure you're using a good oil analysis lab that can let you know if all your oil is meeting what it's supposed to be meeting. What you'll be doing is probably sending them the oil specs to let them know what type of oil you're using, so they know what that values are supposed to be in that sample. So good idea. Definitely run an oil sample when you're running those extended oil intervals. I would not do it without that. What do you think about those extended oil intervals, even if he's using?
I think that the maximum amount of miles I would recommend to someone, even using synthetic, 25.
25 max.
25 max. I mean, like, it can last up. I know because by experience I already saw a couple DD15s going all the way to 80,000 miles with a single oil change, because trucks never come back. So, but that doesn't mean then you gotta do it like that. So I know for sure that the engine can last that long with a single oil change.
Oh yeah, it'll go that long.
Yes. But to keep the engine
but
good,
the longevity of the engine, like the whole lifespan of the engine, 25. Could be shorted.
25 maximum. Don't go over 25. It doesn't matter what type of oil, no, because to me it's like if you do the oil change sooner, you are keeping the oil quality good all the time, because when you drain the oil, probably the oil is still good, but that is the good thing, because the oil hasn't damaged anything yet.
Exactly. And that's a good point. If you could run a 80,000 mile oil, but you're not gonna, the engine's gonna do it, but is it safe? And is it going to be good for the longevity of that engine? That's basically what we're getting
Yes.
to. That's why we talk about these oil change intervals being too long.
Yeah, too long.
And-
25 max, that's it.
Yeah, and making sure you're doing oil analysis. You know, get these done. Even if you're doing 15, 20,000 mile oil changes, get an oil analysis done, you know, once a year. You know, if just to kind of get the check your engine out. You want to check to see if you got an oil analysis is going to let you know if you got any kind of contaminants that don't need to be in there.
Yes.
Okay, are you guys going to be going live every week? We need to hear all this stuff from you guys.
Oh.
I will still be going live every week on I will still be going live every week on Sundays. Francisco may be going live now. That would be a good idea for him. Fallout says, are you guys... Oh, okay. I got another super chat here. I just got out the shop. Had EGR actuator code. They took care of the code. After 3 days of driving, now the code pop up. I don't want to do so SER wiring.
Yeah, the ACR
Okay.
wiring. Actually, that code, the EGR, has nothing to do with that code.
No, it doesn't. It
Yeah.
doesn't. That's why I was curious. Okay, if you have EGR actuator code, what was the code that came up? What did they do? You know, what are the repairs that they do?
I will just suggest that if he has that code over and over and over, the first thing you gotta do is replace the SCR wiring. Is the wiring that goes on top of the SCR box. You just go to the dealer and ask for the SCR wiring. Pretty easy. They will give you a little box and comes with a silver looking wiring, and you replace it. It's pretty easy to replace on those. I think I did that. No, I didn't do a video, but I show how it looks when it's completely damaged. And because those codes are related to that. In meantime, you have those codes, you're gonna have probably the DEF light blinking and many problems like that. So you have to fix that definitely.
Check that out, yeah, because the code 4334 FMI4 is an electrical problem on the SCR box, and it's talking about the DEF pressure sensor, voltage above normal or shorted to a low source. If you have any corrosion on the connections, you know, check that out. You know, he's suggesting go ahead and do the wiring harness. That's something that we can do as well. If you do have any where that harness actually connects into the main harness, check that connector too. Make sure you don't have any kind of corrosion in that connector. Make sure that there's no chafing on any of your
Yes.
wires, anything like that. I'm going to look at this 4374. I don't think I looked at this code for him. 4374. This is GHG14. Before starting troubleshooting procedures, please verify ADT vision. This code sets when the DEF pump speed is higher than normal for a given DEF pressure.
Yeah,
Pump
it
speed.
has to be related to that,
Yeah.
because if the DEF pressure is not getting pressurized enough, I mean, or the sensor is not getting the information necessary, is telling the computer, then the DEF pressure is not building it.
So probable causes on this particular code for 43740 is going to be restricted lines from the DEF line to the DEF tank and pump, restricted DEF line between the DEF pump and the dosing unit, error in the DEF lines between the DEF tank and the DEF pump, restricted DEF pump or failed DEF pump. So it sounds like to me these codes could be two different problems. Basically 4334 suggests that you look at any other fault codes besides this one to troubleshoot first. So it's possible you could have two problems. You could have an issue with the SCR harness, and you could have an issue with the pump, because I don't see, this is the first code here.
Yeah, it is possible.
It's possible you may have two codes. Or do you think this code may be in line with the other code? Because this,
The other code about the DEF pump, yeah, it's possible that the DEF pump is not. It needs a new DEF pump, because the RPM, that's what it means. I mean, the RPM is
Yeah.
not getting strong enough to produce the pressure.
Mhm.
It has to raise the RPM higher to give the pressure. That's
Mhm.
normal. That could be, but it could be too. Then this wiring is sending the ground signal, and the computer is realizing that the pressure is lower than the RPM of the pump.
Eagles, what I suggest you do, troubleshoot these separately. Do the harness like he said on 4334, and troubleshoot the 4374 before condemning that pump, man.
Yeah, and also on top of the transmission, there goes the wiring, then goes to the SCR box. Make sure that the wiring on top of the transmission it is not shafting there, because sometimes that could be the problem.
Definitely.
Okay.
And these wires are thin. You know, these wires are really small wires. They try to protect them, but you know, with the wind and over time, zip ties, they get loose. People work on trucks. If you had a clutch replacement and they put that transmission back, not every time they're going to put all your wires back and zip tie everything correctly. If you had your DPF filter clean, not every time. I've seen guys come in here and the harness is just still loose all over the place and ends up getting all messed up. So guys, make sure you're checking all that. I jumped around transport. I'm talking to transport because I had a question here that we missed his comment, but we jumped around because that was a super chat that Eagle actually paid for that question to get highlighted. So I'm gonna try to go back here to where we left off, and I think we're pretty close to wrapping this up, guys. So I appreciate all the viewers. I appreciate, we're almost on for an hour and 40 minutes now, so it's a really long time. We're having a lunch, guys, so bear with us. And where were we at?
I think they were talking about Spanish stuff, right?
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
I finally got my truck in your shop, Adam Francisco. Sorry I couldn't make it to TAT today. Adam, my truck still doesn't have power. They had me 3 pistons are almost at 85% pressure test. Wow. Robert, I wasn't here this week. Sorry if I didn't catch you, but if you're saying you have 3 pistons at 85% on a pressure test, you definitely have something going on there. So I'm gonna follow up with my manager. I'm gonna look at the notes to figure out what we actually did that day and what we recommended, and I want to make sure that you got taken care of. But at 3 pistons at 85%, we definitely need to do a valve adjustment to check to make sure your valves aren't out of adjustment, to verify if that is low compression. If that is low compression, and we're probably going to have to do a manual compression test, more than likely you're going to have an issue going on with your liners. Depends on the year, depends on the mileage, depends on everything that we've already checked out. I appreciate the comment there, Robert. 85%, that's pretty low. That's pretty low compression. You know, he's talking about a compression test that we ran here. Usually we need to be at least over 90%. He said he had 3 cylinders at 85%. I'm going to talk to my lead and figure out what he found out. Super Chat again says they changed the housing on the Delta P sensor. I feel like this all started because APU went out. Thanks a lot, guys. Love the content, and soon we'll visit you guys in the new shop. Okay. So he basically was just saying that he had some work done. That's something that we just mentioned. Check that harness out. Make sure you don't have any issues on that harness there. Let me go back up here to Robert. Francisco, hire more people. You would have like 50 trucks every day come see you.
That's pretty sure.
Yeah. Hey, that's a good idea. Francisco, thanks for all the videos. Keep them coming. Ticking noise when I start engine DD15. I think it can be starter or alternator. Not sure. Ticking noise. Now, is it a consistent ticking noise? If it's a consistent ticking noise in the engine area, I wouldn't run the engine any longer until you find out what's going on with it. If it sounds like it's in the alternator area or pulley area, then it could be something on the pulleys. But if it's ticking in the engine area, I would recommend not running that engine until you find out what's going on with it. What do you think?
It's hard. That one is a hard one because you have to hear the noise actually to identify what can be the cause.
A ticking noise can be something different compared to a ticking noise going on inside an engine to a ticking noise that's happening when you're just starting a truck up.
Yeah, that's super hard to know. I mean, like it can be many things, but an audio sound will actually work better to know that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I try to answer everybody's question and try to help everybody that comes in and asks us questions. But some of the times it's going to be best just to take a look at it or hear it ourselves. So I appreciate that question. Sorry we couldn't exactly find what's going on there. Trey looks like he actually answered Andrew. Andrew was asking where our shop is. Guys, we're going to probably wrap this up here pretty soon. I see some more questions coming in, but we're almost going on for 2 hours. Usually we don't go on this long. We're usually on for like an hour. So, guys, we're probably just gonna wrap this up. Let me just skim across a couple of questions.
Just get the important questions.
Yeah,
there.
transport, open your blinds. There's nothing really to see back there as a hotel. When we get to the new shop, I'm gonna deck us out a nice studio, guys, so you can see it look nicer. Fuel filter covers overnight. Dang, I'm late. The goat is here. Oh, they call you the goat.
Yeah.
What do you think about biodiesel versus diesel? Is it bad to hit bomb, neutral, and high speed? Thank you for valuable information, guys. Bro, y'all skipped over my question. I asked, what's the new and difference between X15 and ISX15 new 2020 engine 7 injector?
I just want to answer right.
Yeah.
Quick. So that is like the engine is completely different. It has different components. Engine base is the same, but the X15 versus the ISX15 is supposed to be an engine that has better fuel economy and it has less problems than the ISX15, because the ISX15 used to have the problems of the crankshaft problems and the overheating problems because of the thermostat. They're made of a very cheap material, and those problems they're supposed to be solved on the in the X15. And plus the EGR cooler design is supposed to be better, because I don't know if you see about the EGR coolers on the ISX, they break so easy.
Yeah.
They start consuming coolant very easy.
Yeah, failing all the time.
Yes, all the time. So the new EGR cooler design is supposed to be better. But as I say, if that is a brand new engine, then probably it is on few trucks right now on the streets, on the roads. So it's gonna be hard to know how good the engine is gonna be from now to 5 years. That's when we're gonna know how good this engine is going to be.
If you have a chance to buy one, I would just hold off for now. Just hold off for now.
Yes.
Yeah, wait till all the bugs get kind of, get worked out of it. I mean, everything sounds good when they come out, but until they run on the road for a while and they put through all the conditions, that's really when you're going to start seeing. Thank you for the valuable. I'm watching from South Africa. Wow. Got a viewer from South Africa. That's cool.
Yes.
Transport. Okay. Hopefully that answered your question there, Transport. I appreciate. Thanks for the reply about the gear ratio. Is for a DD15. Okay. Trump 2020. Probably not. I'm joking.
I don't know.
Hey, that's political stuff, guys. I'm not political. I'm not getting into politics. That's not something I like to get into. So hey, to you, Francisco, the guy that works at your office, very nice and always on top of things on your shop. He is very helpful. Okay, so this comment was for the Francisco that's here in the office. We also have a Francisco here that works here in the office. He's the shop manager. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you visiting us, Robert, and I appreciate the support and the questions. Guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. What do you think? You want to try to catch up to all these questions, or how?
Let's just go all the way down really fast and.
How long are you gonna be here?
I'm gonna be here.
Right, he's Francisco's actually heading out to Houston today or tomorrow, right? Yeah, and then you're heading back out to California when?
I'm planning to leave on Saturday night.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a long drive. He drove in from California, guys. So how many hour drive is that?
That is 18 hours.
Did you stop anywhere before Texas?
Yes, I stopped once.
Oh, okay. Did you guys make any other visits to any other shops?
Just to San Antonio. Antonio to the Zoom, our truck and trailer repair in San Antonio.
Oh, okay, cool. Have you had any visits with any other YouTubers?
No, this is my first time. Actually, you remember I told you this is going to be my first time doing something like that. I mean, before I haven't done anything like this, but I just wanted to try something, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I was coming here anyway. Why not to try it?
Yeah, this is pretty cool. I mean, like I mentioned, we reached out to each other, or he reached out to us, and we kind of coordinated this. So, he was gonna be in Texas. He said he wanted to come by, so this is pretty cool. I'm pretty excited that he came by. We were able to show him the shop. I'm a very new YouTuber as well, so I know he's more of a veteran YouTuber than I am. So it's pretty cool to be able to collab like this. Let's see if we could catch up to everything else. Transport says also about the no crankcase filter on the ISX15 or the new X15. That's kind of. I wonder why they're getting rid of the crankcase filter. I mean, I'm pretty sure
it clogs the actual. I mean, the crankcase filter on the IS6 actually blocks the flow and destroys all the gaskets and start leaking oil here and there.
So they're just getting rid of it
Probably
altogether.
they're going to a different style.
Because I know like the 60 series just had a small filter that kind of
Because
filtered out.
It was that was how you call a spin design. So what it does, there is a oil pressure on the bottom. There is a little hole for oil pressure, and it has a little gear, and the oil pressure hits the grill, the
Yeah.
gear. So it starts spinning really fast.
Yeah.
So when the pressure comes, it starts separating the oil from the pressure,
Mm-hmm.
and then the pressure goes down, and the oil goes back to the oil pan.
Okay.
So DD15 have the same. So I think then Cummins ISX is going to do something like that.
Oh.
But the benefit of that is then you don't create overpressure in the crankcase, and you can actually have like we can say zero pollution from the oil to the atmosphere, because the oil is getting completely separated.
That's interesting, because okay, so but the X15 is getting completely rid of the crankcase filter.
No, I mean, like, probably it's getting something like that, or they are doing the top valve cover crankcase.
That's what I meant.
Yes.
The 60 series is what that's what I meant by the 60 series is they just have like a mesh up top and they just vent the engine. That's all they do.
Because, like, for example, if you study gasoline engines, they don't have crankcase filters nowadays. Some of them they do, but they have the valve cover is the crankcase filter. So the oil goes on top because of the pressure, and it start going up, and there is components then separate the oil from the pressure, and the oil goes down.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna probably use the same design that they did on their 6.7 liter Cummins, and they
Yes.
have the filter in the
Yeah.
valve cover. So that's probably what route they're
Yes.
going. That's
Yeah,
pretty.
it's possible.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's see what we got here. I kind of jumped around here. I like to watch the videos from the beginning. I like to watch this video from the beginning. 2015 Evo Francisco that works here is a great guy. Talking to him now. I need help. What happened if to put gas in diesel tank and then start the truck?
Don't do it. Don't
do
even
that.
think about it.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Drain the tanks. Drain everything. Drain everything. Don't do it. Tow it wherever it needs to go to get that done. Thoughts on the X15 from Cummins? Your opinion? We just kind of talked about that. Time will tell how that engine is going to run. Hey, Francisco, can we have truck meets in different areas every month?
Truck meets. Probably. I was thinking about that, actually. I was thinking to go to different cities, different states. I really enjoy coming to Texas. Actually, it's my first experience traveling to a different state, and it's not California. And I think it was a good experience.
Cool.
And I'm just trying to figure out how I can do that.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine. Because it's time. I mean, how long did you have to take from work to get this
It's
done?
1 week.
Yeah, that's a lot of time.
Yeah. I haven't. And the reason why I took it is because I'm taking this as my own vacation. And actually, I'm not taking any vacation because I'm working.
Yeah.
I'm doing here. I'm doing there.
What's
But
a vacation?
It's not vacation at all. But the thing is, like, I wanted to explore different areas. I mean, like, I am a mechanic that likes to share experience with different other mechanics, because we all have something to talk about, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's cool. Really, very cool. Very cool. Francisco, where are you going after leaving TAT?
Back to California. I mean, I'm going to Houston. I want to stay a couple of days. I want to visit a friend there, and I'm going to go back to California.
Hey, buddy, how long are you going to be at TAT? I got a delay at Shipper on my way to meet you. Oh, got a viewer.
I'm right here. I want to be here for a couple hours. I don't know, like maybe 1 hour more. I don't know if you want to go eat, probably a little
Yeah,
longer.
we're probably going to go get something to eat. We
Yeah.
haven't ate anything.
Yeah.
We just started shooting. We kind of met each other and started talking. Let me see. Okay, guys, let me see what else. Thank you both. I really appreciate the way you contribute your fair share to improve these trucking community. I appreciate that question. No, we call him the truck guru.
Yeah,
That's you. Is that you?
Yeah, that's my
The truck guru.
Truck guru. Yes, that's me.
So the viewers the viewers are saying they want to come out. The viewers were saying we needed a nickname for me, but I mean that's a really good one. I would run with that one, truck guru.
No, yeah, they called me. I remember we went to Pasadena. They called me Truck Guru. Yeah. No,
Okay.
it was not Pasadena. It was Lancaster.
He asked again. I think this is the same guy. He's gonna be here till probably another hour or so. So if you're in the area, come on by. If not, he's gonna be heading out to Houston. Maybe you can meet him down there. Can't wait to see the new shop. Thanks, Kevin. That's one of my coaches. Thanks for joining us, Adam. Hey, bud. Me, Eli, out of Cali right now, taking care of business at this bank in Riverside, California. Take care. Thumbs up. I appreciate that. Stay focused. Trey says, "How far are you?" Okay. Truck doctor. Wish he was my doctor. Oh, truck doctor's a good one too.
Yeah.
Fort Worth, Texas. Oh, he's in Fort Worth, man. It's Friday, and you're coming from Fort Worth. Man, there's going to be some traffic. You're not going to be here till probably 5 o'clock. We shouldn't have any president next 4 years. Laugh out loud. Imagine running with no president for 4 years. Francisco is going to Houston. Not sure exactly how long. Oh, that's Trey saying that.
Yeah.
Are you going at TAT? Thanks a lot, guys. This is one of the best collabs. Thanks. Adam will not be going to Houston. No, I won't. Best collabs, hopefully more. Francisco, you should go live also every week, but different times than Adam, so we can watch both of you guys. Good idea, friend. Good idea, Transport. I'm willing to give up my Sunday if he wants to take Sunday lives. No, I'm joking.
So you want to go party or something then?
Well, I mean, Sundays are, we shoot.
Yeah.
Saturdays,
It is a day to enjoy.
When is
right?
there days off?
Yeah.
Like he said, there's never days off. Question: do you know specifically where you're going in Houston? Are you going to another shop?
No, I'm not going to another shop right now. I'm just going to a ranch right now.
Okay, cool. Okay, thank you guys very much. Very experienced and knowledgeable on diesel again. I look forward to videos begin. I have a question for both Adam and Francisco. What advice can you give for technicians out there, and also for being an independent tech?
Love your work. If you love it, you're gonna be good.
There you go.
Yeah, that's my best advice for you.
I would say my advice would be don't stop reading.
Yes.
Always stay reading. Always
That's
stay on
good.
top of things. I mean, always stay current. I haven't had time to look over the X15. I did know that was crankcaseless filter, but I didn't know it was only called the X15 and
Yeah,
not
it
IS. I thought it was ISX
Nah, it's confusing.
X15. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know why they did that. They should have just completely got rid of the X.
Yeah.
Give him a job. Someone's looking for a job. Apply online, guys, if you're looking for a job. I'll be there soon, just after I leave Fort Worth. He probably will not be here when you leave Fort Worth. Fort Worth is probably be about an hour and a half away. So, best live ever. I appreciate that, Transport. Transport also says, so Francisco, are you going live? He may be going
Probably,
live.
yes.
Keep an eye on his channel. Make sure you're subscribed to his channel. Guys, if you're not subscribed to Francisco's channel, make sure to subscribe to his channel. He's got tons of information, the same like our channel. Tons of information out there, guys. If you find my channel useful, you're definitely going to find his channel useful. Make sure to reach out to his channel. Make sure to comment. He says he loves to reply to comments. So
I'll try my best. Okay?
It's a joke, guys. It's very tough to keep up with every comment, guys. I think they should live stream together so we can watch. We are live streaming now, guys. So we are going to wrap it up. That's the bottom of chat, guys. I appreciate everybody that joined us today. This is the longest live that we've had since we started the channel. Appreciate you coming in. I appreciate you visiting us. Appreciate you sharing your information
Yes.
to everybody and coming and see us. Hopefully he can come and see us again.
Yeah, it was, as I told you at the beginning, this was an experimental trip for me to start thinking about doing something like this. I mean, I never thought about doing something like this before. It just came out to the point that I got it. I had the trip to Texas, and I was just like, why am I gonna go to Texas and stay one day there and come back? So I decided, okay, I wanna take a week, complete week off, and which was hard because I miss being at my place, right?
Yeah.
But now that I think about it, yeah, I mean, I feel that I did actually good because now I get to meet you, now I get to meet different people, and I want to do that again. I mean, I want to do probably in a different state. I mean, going farther than Texas will take more time, but probably I will do it because I want to keep all of you satisfied. I mean, probably I won't be able to answer your questions, but I will be able to meet you one day. And that is important too, right?
Yeah, very important. It's very nice to meet everybody. I like all the comments that we get, all the information that we're swapping back and forth. It just helps us grow our knowledge
Yes.
even more. and just to be able to give you guys information that's useful, it's very fulfilling for me, and I'm pretty sure it's fulfilling for you as well.
Yes, everything helps. Doesn't matter how good or how bad it is. It feels a spot than was it didn't have any information, and that is good to have information. I mean, that's the reason we're here. Remember, I told you I like to share information. You can give me some information. You gave me information that I didn't have, and I gave you some information, and this was gonna work out in the future.
Definitely. We're going to be in contact with each other, and this may not be our last collab.
Yes.
Guys, thanks for joining us. If you got any more questions or concerns, make sure to comment on the video. You can call us during the weekdays at 972-225-3017, or you can also email us at info@tatexpressinc.com. Make sure to subscribe to Francisco channel if you haven't yet. Thanks for having us, or thanks for coming on with us. Appreciate you being live with us, guys. Again, hope you guys have a good weekend. We may be going live again on Sunday, so check it out. Again, thanks for coming by, and guys, until next time, we'll see you. And Francisco is going to be heading down to Houston.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon. 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 When it rains, it pours. Water's up to my chin. Won't stop fighting to the very end. Many men try to reach it. Many men have failed. Well, if you wanna get to heaven, you gotta raise a little hell. And I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They say no to sleepless night. Will you find me? Hope you find me.